Would you like to sin less than you do? Would you like to be a disciple of Christ? Well, you're going to need to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You need to change your stinking thinking, but that's not the topic of today's message. You need to be transformed in community. You need to be transformed by the power of habit. You need to train yourself to be godly. You need to behold Him so that you will be transformed. And all those things are true, but those are not the topic of today's teaching. Today's teaching, I'd like to illustrate by showing you one verse, and I'm going to misquote this verse. And see if you can catch me where I've misquoted this verse. So here's our verse. 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will make you really strong so that you can endure it. Let me invite you to look at that verse and see if you can catch me where I have misquoted that verse. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also make you really strong so that you can endure it. Did you find it? Well, the scripture does not actually say that He'll make you really strong. The scripture says that He will provide a way out. He will provide a way of escape. It's like if you can imagine you were driving on a road and we came to a rough patch of the road. You might think that God's method of you dealing with that rough patch of the road is make you a really good driver. But that's not actually God's method of dealing with the rough patch in the road. God's method of dealing with the rough patch in the road is there's a way of escape. You take the exit, you go down the access road for a little while, you go around that little problematic portion, and all will be well. And the big idea is this. If you can avoid the temptation, you can avoid the sin. If you can avoid the temptation, you can avoid the sin. Some sins have an environmental issue. If you can change the environment, then you will not sin. Now, temptation is not a sin. So sometimes you're tempted and you can't do anything about it. You can't change the environment. But where you can change the environment, where you can change the temptation, you can do something about that. I like that old saying that says, I can resist anything except temptation. I lost 50 pounds a few years ago and kept most of it off. And what I learned in that process was, if you put a bowl of Snickers in my dining room table, I'm going to eat a Snickers. In fact, I might eat the whole bowl of Snickers. But if you put a pile of apples there, a bowl of apples there, I'm going to eat an apple. Not because I'm strong, but simply because you changed the environment. You provided a way of escape. And the way of escape in that case was a bowl of apples instead of a bowl of Snickers. I love this poem. I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes me a long time to get out. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I'm going. It's my fault. I get out immediately. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk, but I walk around it. And I like to paraphrase another verse of this little poem that goes like this. I walk down the street. I try really, really hard not to fall in that hole, but I fall in that hole anyway. And the last verse of that little poem goes like this. I walk down a different street. And if you want to avoid sin, this is what you need to do. Avoid the temptation. If you can avoid the temptation, you can avoid the sin. Just don't hang around that crowd. Just don't go down that street. Don't go down there. If you're tempted to eat chocolates, don't go to the mall where there's a chocolate store. If you're tempted to get drunk, don't go with the people who get drunk. If you're tempted to get drunk, don't go by the liquor store. Don't go anywhere where the liquor is nearby, because if you can avoid the temptation, you can avoid the sin. I knew of one guy that was tempted to watch too much television, and he wanted to learn how to play the guitar. And so he didn't just try really hard not to watch television and try really hard to play the guitar. What he did is he got a guitar stand and he put it in the middle of his living room floor. And then he took his remote control and he hid it in the top of his closet back in the back bedroom. So he'd get off of work and come home and he'd plop down on the couch and he'd think, boy, I feel like watching something. Let's see here. Where's the remote? Oh yeah. The remote's way back up in the closet, the upper closet, up in at the top of my closet, back in the bedroom. What else am I going to do? Well, looks like there's a guitar right here. I think I'll play a little guitar. And what he learned was if you can avoid the temptation, you can avoid the sin. No temptation has taken you except what is common to man. God is faithful, and when you are tempted, he will provide not the strength to endure it. He will provide the way of escape. So if you want to be a disciple, you want to find the way of escape. If you want to make disciples, you want to teach them to find the way of escape.